If you're paying $1,200 to $1,800 a month in rent, you're actually already buying something. You're just buying it for somebody else. The real question isn't, can I buy a house? It's, should you? Okay, regardless of what other realtors say, not everybody should buy a house right now. But also, not everybody that's renting should be renting either. Let's actually run through what makes sense and what doesn't. What's up, everybody? My name's Talon. I'm a local real estate here in Northeast Arkansas, serving cities like Jonesboro, Brooklyn, Paragould, and surrounding towns. Over the past couple years, we've sold millions of dollars worth of real estate here in Northeast Arkansas, helped so many buyers and sellers move in what most people would call the trickiest market of the century. So in today's video, I hope that you get some value out of this, and I want to challenge you. I want you to use the brain that you were born with to be able to make a decision and quit maybe possibly throwing away money, or might save you from making a big mistake. If you haven't already, make sure to click the subscribe where we put out videos like this all the time. Without further ado, let's dive in. First of all, I want to talk about when renting actually makes sense. And yes, you heard me right. I'm not against the idea of renting. Now, pause and just say, I'm not a financial planner or advisor. You take what I say as a grain of salt. I'm just some realtor here in Northeast Arkansas. But look, there are situations where renting makes more sense for people. I'm not naive. I can admit that. Now, maybe your realtor doesn't admit that, but I do. That's how we do things. I can tell you right now, without even looking at your finances, if you should either rent or buy based on this one factor alone, is if you don't plan on staying there for at least 3 years, it makes no financial sense to buy a house right now. If you're unsure about that area, or you think that your job's a little unstable, or you could see yourself moving cities in a year from now, having the ability to be flexible has real value. But if you buy a house, you're kind of stuck to that property. Closing costs, commissions, transaction expenses usually smooth out over a period of time after appreciation has ran its course. So first of all, at the start of this video, if your timeline is unsure or uncertain, renting is not failure, it's flexibility. But now let's look at some real numbers. Let's say somebody's renting something for $1,500 a month. That is, if you do the math, $18,000 a year. Thank God for my calculator. In 3 years, that's $54,000. You heard me right. 3 years. Do the math yourself. Pull out your phone. Now let's compare that to buying the average price point of a home here in Northeast Arkansas, which is $200,000. Let's say that you use an FHA loan that's 3.5% down. 3.5% of $200,000 is $7,700. That's not small, but it's certainly not $20,000 to $40,000. And with USDA in many parts of Northeast Arkansas, you can actually get zero down loan programs like USDA. So the down payment barrier isn't always what people think it is. Now, yes, owning has overhead, meaning that you actually are responsible for expenses, maintenance, insurance, taxes, as if we don't pay enough taxes already. But here's the reality. That $1,500 rent is 100% an expense. None of that goes to your pocket. A mortgage payment? Yeah, a portion of that goes towards the principal, building equity. And historically, even a modest appreciation rate changes a long-term picture down the road. So if that $220,000 house even appreciates at 3% a year, that's literally $6,000 more in just 1 year. And that appreciation offsets that overhead quickly over time. Now let's pretend you are stuck in a lease. I hear this all the time. Talon, I would love to buy a house right now, but I just signed a 12-month lease. Well, you might as well just throw in the towel because you're done, bud. No, I'm kidding. This comes up a lot. What if I'm stuck in a lease? And look, that's real. But here's what most people don't explore: communication. I know, being a real estate investor myself, communication with tenants goes a long way. I've talked with so many buyers that have been able to work out lease takeovers, early termination contracts, and flexible move-outs simply because they were able to communicate with the landlord. Now look, not every landlord says yes, but more are flexible than people think, especially if you help find a replacement tenant. The worst thing to do is assume that you're trapped without even asking. It's like when me and my wife are at the house and she has a cookie and it's the last cookie, and I'm scared to ask for a bite because I know it's the last cookie and I might be a little afraid to get slapped. But I ask anyways, and I end up getting one bite. Does any other husbands out there relate to that at all, or am I the only one? Okay, was that a weird analogy? I don't know. I might delete that. Okay, so all jokes aside, let's talk about something a little uncomfortable. One of the biggest reasons why people rent long-term is because they can't buy a house. They've went to 3 loan officers, got their credit pulled, all to find out the same exact thing. You have a spending problem. You can't buy a house because you've never allowed your money to be in a position to allow you to buy. That's right, I'm talking about budgeting and spending habits. Who would have thought a realtor would ever be talking about this in 2026? Let's just do some simple math. Back to my calculator. To all you guys that are going to Shadrack, 7 Brew, and Starbucks 5 times a week, spending $7 a day. Oh, don't forget the points that you get though. That free drink every 30 drinks. That's $35 a week. Over a year, that's over $1,800. Oh, and let's pretend eating out 4 times a week at $25 per night. That's $100 a week. That's $5,200 a year. Now combine those, that's over $7,000 annually because of your spending habits. That's almost an entire down payment with an FHA loan at around $220,000. Or you could have used that $7,000 to bring your debt down. Therefore, you could actually get pre-approved for a house, potentially at 0% down. That's not including people financing vacations and carrying credit card debt and expensive car upgrades. This isn't judgment. It's just awareness. And sometimes the barrier to buying a home isn't your income. It's how you actually allocate the money that you are making. And people that are getting serious about buying a home really start paying attention to this stuff months and potentially years in advance. Okay, another point that I wanted to bring up is this down payment myth. A lot of people continue to throw away money renting because they think that they have to have 20% down to buy a house. There goes my blood pressure. And they don't. I mentioned this earlier, but in Northeast Arkansas, programs like USDA, FHA, you're looking at a 0% down to 3.5% down for most first-time home buyers. Let me show you the math. On a $200,000 house, 3.5% down payment, it's just $7,000. On a home at $180,000 is just $6,300. And that's achievable within a year with people that are able to be disciplined. The myth of needing $30,000 to $40,000 to buy a house keeps more people renting than interest rates ever will. Now, some people get scared of this next point, which is the overhead, but I want to bring to you my favorite word, which is appreciation. Yes, owning a property costs money. Roof repairs, HVAC eventually, maintenance. But over time, appreciation usually outpaces those expenses in stable markets. Even modest growth compounds. So you might not instantly be worth $20,000 more the next year, but over a period of time, it will begin to increase in value. The key word there is time. Buying works best when you give it time. And if you start planning on staying there for 3 to 5 years or plus, those start to tilt way more in your favor. And if you don't, renting might actually be smarter because appreciation needs time. So look, the real question isn't if buying is better than renting. The real question is, does buying align with your timeline, financial disciplines, and your stability? If yes, renting longer than necessary might cost you silently more than what you've ever thought possible. And if no, renting is the correct bridge. It's not failure. So look, buying isn't automatically right, and renting isn't automatically wrong. But the worst position is thinking buying isn't possible when it might actually be closer to you than you think. So look, if you want to get into the nitty and gritty and maybe even get connected with a loan officer of mine where we can sit down all together and explore your personal situation and see exactly what makes sense for you. All the information to get on a one-on-one phone call with me is in the description below. Send me a message. Let's get connected because I would love to have an opportunity to earn your business. And if it doesn't make sense now, it might in the future. So if you don't already have a realtor, I would love to meet you. My name's Talon with Keller Realty, serving families in Northeast Arkansas. We'll talk soon.